Hi guys, this is a video on dividing fractions. We're going to continue to work with Standard 6.ns.1.1 on computing quotients of fractions. Just a reminder, you need to have your composition notebook out and a sharpened pencil. Now pay close attention because I'm going to do something slightly different to see who's really focusing and paying close attention to the videos. So what I want you to do first is I want you to open up your composition books to the next available 2 pages that are side by side. I've provided you a visual so you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to title your pages exactly like shown below. So look at your screen. On the left side, I did not make a mistake. I really want you to put a title on that very topmost line that says video number, and then go ahead and write in whatever video number this is. Now I can't put it in my video because it's different for each of my classes, so you need to put the video number that you were assigned. On the right hand side, you're going to title at the very topmost line the title Dividing Fractions. Now remember, you're going to have to pause the video throughout every time there's something that you need to write down. So let's go ahead and begin. Now we're working on the right-hand side of our composition notebooks today, or for the first part, the one that says title or dividing fractions. Now just a reminder, I put a pause button on the screen so you can see it at the bottom left, just to remind you that as I'm writing each step, you're going to need to pause your video so you get everything before I keep talking again. So let's go ahead and start. So we're going to list our steps. Step 1 is copy the problem. We're going to go ahead and put an example problem on the right-hand side of your screen. So as I'm doing this, your piece of paper should look identical to mine. The only difference is the handwriting. So we're going to go ahead and write 1/2 divided by 1/3. Step 2. We're going to go ahead and write KCF so you can see that I did this directly underneath my problem. Step 3, you're going to rewrite the problem. So remember what we're doing is we're going to keep the first fraction exactly the way that we see it. We're going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then we're going to flip the second fraction. Now remember, you're going to have to pause your video to get this all in before I keep talking again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I keep the first one, I change my division sign to multiplication, and I wrote my second fraction as its reciprocal. Step 4, I'm going to solve. So in order to solve this, you're going to multiply your numerators, and remember, you're going to write that down, and then you're going to multiply your denominators and write that answer down. So here it is. I did 1 times 3, I got 3. 2 times 1, I got 2. So we're not quite done yet because remember, the last step anytime we're dealing with fractions is we always have to simplify. So go ahead and write simplify if necessary. Now a lot of you always ask, well, do we have to simplify? And if the directions say if necessary, the only time you simplify is if your fraction is not written in simplest form. So basically, you need to be able to determine when it's not written in simplest form. So the example that we have here, we got an answer of 3/2 or 3/2. That is not written in simplest form. That's actually an improper fraction because the numerator is larger than the denominator. So we're going to have to recopy that problem and rewrite it so that we get a mixed number. Now remember, when we're getting a mixed number, you're dividing 3 divided by 2. So here you can see that my final answer is going to be 1 1/2. All right, so that was the long part of our notes. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the opposite page of your notes, of your composition notebooks, and look on the left side. So remember, it's already titled video number and then whichever it is. So go ahead and copy this problem, number 1, 1/4 divided by 3/8. We're going to go ahead and work this problem out. So the first thing I'm going to do after I've copied this is I'm going to write KCF directly underneath my problem. Now I'm going to recopy my problem, so I'm going to keep my first fraction exactly the way I see it. I'm going to change my division sign to a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to flip my 3 over 8 so it says 8 over 3. And now we're going to go ahead and solve this guy. So if we multiply our numerators, we're going to do 1 times 8, we get 8. Our denominators are 4 times 3, we get 12. Now 8/12 is not written in simplest form, so we need to think of a common factor that they both have and divide by it. Well, the largest number that goes into both 8 and 4, now remember it's got to be, or 8 and 12, excuse me, is 4. It's got to be the same exact number. So now that we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 8, or by 4, excuse me, 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. So now our final answer ends up being 2/3. Now I want to show you the same problem again, except this time I want to show you how we can cross simplify. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take part of this off to the side. I'm going to move it all the way over here. And so now we're going to go ahead and see what happens when we cross simplify. Now when we cross simplify first, we want to look at the diagonal. So you can see here I used yellow or green highlighter, and I'm looking at the 4 and the 2. And basically I'm still asking myself the same question as I did when I simplified. What number goes both into 4 and into 8? The largest number. Well, the largest factor that they have in common is 4. So I'm going to divide both those numbers by 4. If I cross off that 4 and divide by 4, I get 1. If I cross out this 8 and do 8 divided by 4, I get 2. So now I'm going to multiply the numerators that I see. 1 times 2. So now I'm looking at these two guys right over here. I'm looking at the, oops, not that one. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the 1. And I'm looking at the 2 that I have there. So 1 times 2 is going to give me 2. And on the bottom, my denominators, I've got 1 times 3, and I get 3. So if you notice here, we get the same exact answer. The difference is that we simplified first before we actually solve the problem out. Now you can do it either way, but you're going to notice that more times than not, I'm going to end up cross-simplifying first. So here's our next example. I would like for you guys to go ahead and give this problem a try. Now go ahead and begin by copying it down and writing KCF directly underneath it. So go ahead and recopy your problem by keeping the first fraction exactly the way you see it, changing your division sign to a multiplication symbol, and then flipping your second fraction. Now you can't cross simplify always. This is an example of one where you can't do it. So go ahead and finish out this problem and see what you get. So what I ended up getting was 16 over 9. I cannot leave it as 16 over 9 because my numerator is larger than my denominator. So to fix that problem, we're going to divide. So you're going to ask yourself, well, 9 goes into 16 how many times? It only goes into it once. So now I'm going to do my division. When I subtract, I get 7. My 7 is my leftover amount. It becomes my brand new numerator, and I keep the same denominator. So this ends up being my final answer of 1 7/9 for this problem. All right, guys, you know this symbol. Now it's your turn to try. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and do questions 3 and 4 that I have listed on here. You're going to do them on your own, and we're going to actually check them tomorrow in class together. All right, guys, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.